Episode 9 is set to end the Skywalker saga and the sequel trilogy itself by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, what's really exciting about this movie is that there will be a lot of twists and turns and connections to other films that's really going to make us view the Skywalker saga in a different way by writer and director J.J. Abrams. Now, we do know that this could very well be a big risk by Disney and Lucasfilm. It could either go, in a good or bad direction. It's really unclear as of this point right now. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art, and storyboard descriptions, etc. One of which has all to do with Episode 9 itself and the new Star Wars trilogy. Now, what's really exciting about Episode 9 by Disney and Lucasfilm is that there are plans in place to connect Episode 9 to the fourth Star Wars trilogy by the creators of Game of Thrones, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. Now, what's really intriguing about all of this is that you guys may or may not have heard just yesterday that there are plans in place as we speak right now that the new trilogy is going to be based within the Old Republic era, hundreds of years before the Skywalker family. Now, the canon version of the new trilogy based within the Old Republic seems to be a little bit different than what we had in the EU. In the EU, the Old Republic was thousands of years before the events of the Skywalkers, whereas this plan by Disney and Lucasfilm is to only make it hundreds of years. So I want to go over, other ways that they're going to connect Episode 9 to, of course, the new Star Wars trilogy, which is the big plan by Disney and Lucasfilm. Now, there are so many directions that they could actually go in with this movie, the first movie in the new trilogy and how it's going to connect to Episode 9. You guys may have very well read the visual dictionary of The Last Jedi. There are some hints in there of course, the Old Republic being a thing in the Star Wars universe in the near future. So, with that being said, we do know that Disney and Lucasfilm want to connect the sequel trilogy to, of course, the new Star Wars trilogy in a very unique and unexpected way. And it really does make one wonder, could this very well mean that we're going to have cameos in the Old Republic trilogy, such as, let's say, for example, Yoda? If you take this for a great example, if you look at the character of Yoda, he's 900 years old by the time we hit the original trilogy, right? In The Empire Strikes Back, he's 900 years old, give or take. And how Disney and Lucasfilm want to make the new trilogy based, right, hundreds of years before the Skywalker family, there's a very good chance that we could get the actual character of Yoda and seeing his early life in those films. We may not get the actual Skywalker family in those movies, but we could also get other characters that are connected to the originals and even in the sequel trilogy and actually implement that into, of course, the new trilogy. So, like I say, that's one of the big plans that Disney and Lucasfilm have right now, is to somehow find ways to connect the new trilogy to Star Wars Episode 9 in a very unique way. And the automatic assumption would be that that would mean that the trilogy is going to be based after the events of course, Episode 9. However, I believe that that's actually not the case, since what we heard just yesterday, all thanks to Star Wars Newsnet, by the way, that the new trilogy is going to be based within the Old Republic era, hundreds of years based before the Skywalkers. So if it really is going to be connected to Episode 9, there are so many ways that they could go about doing this. Now, we do know that the new threat in this movie, as well as the Beyond, is going to have a connection to the new Star Wars trilogy. So it's very possible that the Beyond is going to be basically introduced in Episode 9, which it will be, and then it's going to be explored in full detail in, of course, the Old Republic trilogy, where we get to learn a whole lot more about the Beyond. So you can see how everything is going to connect from, of course, this new trilogy, also known as the fourth trilogy, over into Episode 9. Honestly, guys, I am very fascinated about both the new trilogy and Episode 9 and exactly how Disney and Lucasfilm are going to connect the two, right? This is just one movie that's going to connect to a massive, new trilogy by the creators of Game of Thrones that's really going to kickstart a new direction for the Star Wars universe. We do know that Disney and Lucasfilm plan to take Star Wars in a totally different direction after Episode 9 releases, and it definitely does match directly up with how the new trilogy is going to be a mixture of Star Wars, Game of Thrones, and Lord of the Rings. Honestly, guys, I'm very excited about the future of this franchise and where things are going to go and how Disney is going to connect this movie, Episode 9, to the new trilogy. I think that it really shows that they're very ambitious. It also shows that they're very goal-driven at this point in time, that they really want to satisfy the fans and make everything interconnected. Meanwhile, the Rian Johnson trilogy is just going to be a trilogy that stands on its own and won't be connected to the Skywalker saga at all, or even Episode 9 at that whatever have you. So, guys, I gotta say, I mean, the way things are going, we do know that Disney are using Episode 9 as a course correction technique, and they're also using this as a way to really bring the Star Wars community back together again after The Last Jedi box office, or should I say the backlash, and of course the effect on the Solo: A Star Wars Story box office results. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.